Hey, Jennifer Maxwell here. Today I want to talk to you about the idea of thoughtful service. And if any of you know me or have been following me a little bit, you'll know that I believe people should be thoughtfully served and that every experience should be elevated. It's just what I believe. It's really my core belief in life. I go through life serving others and feeling as though the world should be served. I just believe that. And so it's easy for me to identify when it's not happening. It's like glaringly obvious to me. And it makes me crazy because I think, how could you not have seen that or noticed that or fulfilled that in a better way? But I realized that sometimes when you're really good at doing something, you think that everybody does that. But only as you kind of grow along do you realize people don't have that necessarily. Everything, whatever you're really good at, you may think is kind of obvious to other people and that they should all be doing it, but it's not, because it's not their thing. So I was sort of trying to define a bit of a process, like how would somebody better deliver thoughtful service if they had to kind of define it and break it down. And I'm thinking, oh, it's everywhere. It feels impossible to break down to me. I'm like, how could you possibly, step by step break down how to thoughtfully serve somebody? But then I kind of, I had to step out and kind of create some umbrella areas, like what would be covered under, certain areas in terms of business and life that you might kind of start considering how you could thoughtfully serve people. And especially in your business, no matter what you do, no matter what industry you're in, there's always a way to thoughtfully serve people. And thoughtfully serving doesn't mean that you are like a doormat or that you don't, take care of yourself as a business, obviously. But it's a different experience in terms of serving a client to create culture. And that the culture you have, for example, we all know some great examples are Apple and Starbucks. Those are the two big ones that are really well known for service. Starbucks, if it's not right, they'll make it again, and they'll make it again, they'll make it a third time even. After that, they might just say, what can I give you? And here's a coupon, I'm really sorry. But they have such a high standard of process that typically it's you go into one Starbucks and you ask for a caramel Americano, it's going to taste exactly the same as if into any other Starbucks that you go into. It's the same thing with Apple. Apparently, I wouldn't know, but apparently, physically speaking, Apple products aren't any better. In fact, they're probably worse, so I'm told, than some other computer companies that are out there. But their service is so high rated that apparently Apple has a quite common issue with their hard drive going. But you would never know, because the way they serve people and take care of them, nobody ever complains because they just get it handled. So I want you to think about service in a way that impacts people and its relevance and the idea that it creates culture. So there's a couple of ways you can look at it. And, I would say communication is one, obviously. How you communicate, but always think about the receiver. Everything you do needs to land with the person who's receiving the information, the environment, the whatever, the product, the service, so that it makes them feel acknowledged and like they matter. I know it sounds kind of obvious, right? But you'd be surprised how many companies and corporations kind of don't do that. They're really focused on their product. This is a great product, just let me get it into your hands, but they haven't served the end user. So, again, so let's start with communication. It could be the way you do your emails. It could be the way you interact with somebody at an event, if you do live events or if you have an open house of some sort. It's the way people are welcomed. How do you make them feel as they arrive? Have you seated them? Have you, helped them get through the process? Did you take their coat? Did you show them there's some coffee here? Last night I was at a Board of Education event, of all things, and I was really impressed. I noticed that they had this beautiful welcome table, and they had 3 containers of, it was just water, but it had strawberries in some and lemon in another, and I was like, wow, that's so great. And then they had beautiful coffee and tea, and it was in, simple paper cups, but it was recyclable, and it was like unbranded, which was kind of nice. It was just pretty and plain and simple, and they had a little variety of some cookies. Again, it's not the stuff you serve necessarily, although that could be part of it, but it's the way it's served, the way it's presented, and the fact that the napkins were all twisted. That's an old catering trick if you don't know that. You know, I learned that my very first day of catering. You take your stack of napkins and you simply rotate them. And the way they're rotated allows the user to pick up a napkin very easily. Again, it's all about the user experience. You know, being introduced, and I was at another event a couple of weeks ago where the host took me in and introduced me. It was my first time, and he took me to a group of other people, and it was their first time. And I didn't feel like, you know, as much as I'm outgoing, it's still awkward to walk into brand new situations. If you don't know anybody, you don't know what to expect, and to have someone greet you and welcome you, and, you know, oh, there's some pizza over here, and here's some new people, and what are these people's names, and introducing, this is Jennifer's first time, whatever. So there are ways that you can consider how you serve people beyond the product and service that you offer. Is it the way, you know, when you have to deliver an email, you know, have you served all of the readers, have you served the intention, not only the intention of the email to get the information delivered, but in a way that the receiver would read it? You know, are they, do they need all this much information? Is it overwhelming? Maybe you need to cut it back. Or maybe if it does require a lot of detail, and sometimes it does, is it in sizable chunks? Is it in like paragraph by paragraph? Maybe you put headings, maybe you bold the important information, maybe you put bullets. But there are ways to increase the experience that your customers and clients have so that they feel that they've been received. And isn't it all about that? That you want to know that when you're using a product or service that you've been heard and that you've been seen, or when you show up to a counter, a doctor's office, whatever, and they don't even look at you and they just keep typing, or they're on the phone, or they're like, they haven't even acknowledged your presence. Isn't that like the first hit? It's like, hi, I'm here, I'm a real human, and I'm standing in front of you. You know, all it would take would be a look and a smile and just, you know, 1 minute, I'll be right with you, something, so that I feel acknowledged in that moment. So that's the takeaway for today. Is there a way that you can up the service that you provide for people, even beyond what you do, and make whatever moment you have and whatever interaction you have extra special? Make the receiver feel acknowledged, feel received, and part of the culture that you're welcoming them into, this culture that you're creating, whatever culture it is. So my request would be to create a culture that's engaging and welcoming and warm and inviting and innovative. Isn't that what we're looking for? We're looking for things and companies that do things differently. And my coffee maker's going off. I have to go before I get a hot coffee right now. So that's my takeaway for the day, and I would love it if you would comment and share your ideas. What have you found that you've noticed that was amazing with a company or service that you interacted with? Or what did you notice you thought, I can't even, like, how are these people in business? Whatever it is, I want to hear, because maybe those experiences could help somebody else if they're not maybe active in that area, that they could help to increase the service and the end-all experience for the customer and the client. So give me your feedback, like, comment, share, give me a thumbs up, and subscribe. And I look forward to hearing your feedback and having some dialogue with you around it, because I believe when we all grow together, we just bring up all the industries and the people around us, and we all do better. So I look forward to hearing from you and connecting soon. Take care.